Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, another video for you. So today I'm going to run through the summit and I'm going to focus on getting gear. So how do I gear myself up? How do I make it so I can get a specific gear set and build a build around that? So first thing you're going to do is when you're in the summit, you're going to the map key, then you press H for loot, and then you can pick any type of loot there that you see. I'm picking ongoing directive because that's one of the builds I'm doing. The other thing you get to do in Summit is you can pick what kind of directives you have, which gives you more loot. So for example, you see I'm going to pick putting status effects on them, and then I'm also going to hopefully get directives. Go down there. If you haven't got the reward before, when you get to reward level 5, you get a capacitor. So this is how you get a capacitor. So I have my directives checked. And now I also get to select my level and my directive. So I'm going to go, as you've seen in my other video recently, I'm going to go challenging because it's pretty easy, comparatively speaking. And now here I'm going to pick 7 directives. Now what I didn't do, I thought about later, but if you pick 7 directives, you only have to do like 2 or 3 floors of that and you get one of these caches and a prize kind of thing. And it's easier on floors 1 through 5 than later. I did it at the end like a dummy, but you don't have to be dumb like me. But this is the great thing about Summit. You get to select exactly what kind of experience you want. Well, so to speak, you get to set up the parameters. It's randomized a little bit. So this is how you get loot. You're going to bootstrap yourself into getting loot. So like maybe you're going to go out in the real world and I'm showing you my build here. And you see I only have roughly 60 items. So I got 60 items free. I got actually, if I have 60, I have 90 items free. If I'm doing the math right. So I cleared everything out. I don't have any loot boxes. I don't have any loot. I'm just going to go as far as I can go and get as much loot as I can get. So you can go out in the real world and you can make the map tell you what loot's dropping where, and you can kind of farm loot that way. The Summit kind of makes it pretty easy because you know what you're setting, you know the map, there's not a lot of running around, it's pretty self-contained. I'm also going to get XP during this, so I can set up where I'm getting XP. So this is kind of like, I guess how the subway used to be. I can set up what type of loot I want to get, I can set up how much XP I want to get, I get rewards for doing this, and so there you go. So I mentioned earlier bootstrapping. You might go out in the world and bootstrap yourself up. Maybe you want striker. So you might get some striker pieces, and you might come in here and you have striker pieces that you got on hard, maybe, or challenging, no directive. Now here you're going to get a bunch of loot, and you're going to pick through that for the attributes you want without having to re-roll. So the idea is to get the pieces you want that are pristine, in one play session, that you don't really have to worry about recalibrating and doing all that stuff. Recalibrating's great, but as you do challenging, and let's say you do this on challenging, and let's say you get into groups in the Summit that are heroic, then you're going to get even better gear and legendary, etc. So you bootstrap yourself up into getting better gear that you can then select from or give to alts on your account or whatever. So I'm running with a tank build. I probably didn't need to run with a tank build, but it's the Pistolero thing, probably if I had a weapon damage. I think I mentioned earlier I'm pretty crappy at weapon damage builds, but I'm trying to do it. So I'm going to humiliate myself for everyone and show you how bad I am at weapon builds. So that'll be later though. I got to get good. So one of the things you're looking on the Summit, there's also a key that unlocks a cache like on every on the 3rd, the 6th, and 9th floor. It's not on the 1st floor usually. It might be at the end of the 2nd and somewhere on the 3rd where you have to pay attention. That's another one of these directives. So if you find the key each time, if you make it your business, there's a directive to do that 3 times and you get one of those prizes. I'd always wanted a capacitor and all these people had it and I was like, how do I get it? And then in one time I'm in a group and a guy had a capacitor fall as an exotic drop. And then I was like, dang. And you know, it won't drop unless you already have one. So I kind of looked up and then was kind of embarrassed. I'd done the summit a lot, but there's my dog attacking the cats. I've done this summit a lot, but I never did directives. I never did any, I did directives, but I never did any of these challenges going up. And so now I make sure I'm doing the challenges because they're easy. For some of the things, they're like using a pistol only. I think that's using a pistol without a shield. You gotta do that for 2 floors. Pistol arrow is a directive easy when you got a shield. Skill kills, you know, the shield does a skill kill. I didn't bother showing you that, but I recorded a dump truck load of stuff. I'm only showing you the beginning. And then I'm going to cut to the end when I got all the loot, because that's what you're here for, is loot and making your build better. But yeah, I'm using the tank build, and it's fairly easy. Also want to thank everyone that's been looking at the videos and subscribing. Again, it's very humbling, all the kind things people say. I appreciate and all the advice. Get a lot of good tips from fellow players. I am going to buy a capture card because I'm going to start reviewing different things. Kind of exciting, but I have no way to do it where it looks good, so that's what I'm out to do today. I've been starting to do shorts also, and I enjoy it. I'm going to try to show you what my rig is eventually and show you what I do, so if you're interested in doing that. But the main centerpiece is I have an iPad Pro that I do all my video editing and crunching on. And I'm not an Apple guy. I was never really an Apple guy. I always dabbled in them, and then it was just too different than a PC. So I'm going to break that for a second. So now here I'm at floor 20. So I've been gaming all morning, getting all this stuff. So this is kind of the final boss level. I think Elite Headshots is on, and I got to complete 1 floor with a boss on it. On this level 20, I always now run up to the top, and I'm going to, like I've showed you before, I'm going to press the spawn point. So they don't spawn up here yet. They're going to spawn out that door. So I'm going to kill them here and eventually form the spawn. A little bit dangerous because I can't see with the radar, so I have to check back every once in a while. And you'll kind of feel it. Here you see me getting my ass kicked. Excuse the French. Sorry to my French friends. Excuse my English. And there we go. There's the boss. And I'm going to go back and push. Again, with the tank, you're shaping the battlefield. I don't want to push him over the edge. I don't want to chase him all over. I just want to keep him near the door. So let's see, I'll try to move him back into the corner. He's done. Now more spawning. Again, a lot of good suggestions. One thing that I'm doing with this tank build is I improvise pieces to let me use the 12% elite damage. So on yellows, I'm reducing the damage quite a bit. I think it's only 60% because I use a Pizarro holster. I left it blue. It gets 15% weapon damage, and it has, I think, skill haste on it. And I like using that piece for the extra damage. That's always what on a pistol build you want to have damage. like I'm always considering that. Man, if I would have given you the other videos, my cats were jumping all over me nonstop. So there's like, sometimes I pause it like I've had in the senior moment. The cat coming attention. 2 cats and a little dog. All right, so again, pressing the spawn point. And in another video I did this with Catharsis, but I really enjoy it with Ridgeway because, and there we cleared it. Because Ridgeway, you apply that bleed to close. It's more of a close-up build. So let's see what kind of loot we got. So remember, I started with 59 pieces. Let's say I started with 60 pieces, and my maximum is 90, so, or 150. So I have 90 pieces I get. So let's see when I completed my boss level, gave me a piece. I'm going to get the loot here. All right, so let me open up the inventory and let's see how many pieces. So I'm at 140. So I got 80 pieces, running floor 20, and I'm going to burn all these greens. I know it's horrible. For those of you that don't have it yet, I'm sorry. But I'm level 19 expertise, so I need all this stuff to burn to get me up to level 20. Now the thing about greens is they give you like steel and what have you. So when you melt those down, they give you extra. So that's why I almost always pick greens, whether I'm going to use them or not. I'm just going to burn them down at this point. On my other tunes, I don't burn them down. There was a 15% piece that I kept on the off chance that I don't use a chest piece, so I'm using Ridgeway. So, but remember, I got to do that weapon build, so that might be better. Okay. And I'm going to do the weapons now. And I do some of that. Look, I got 9 boxes, so I'm getting a box like every 2 floors. So I got to do 1 more floor. So after this, I do another floor so I get my exotic for the week. So I'm checking my resources to make sure I'm not going to go over the cap, which I've done more than once. So what do I get? 1,700 pieces of fabric, and you see 160 of the fiber, electronics, titanium. Right, that's the benefit of using those greens. So I keep doing this till I get rid of all the gear. So this is the way for you to build up your sets or your gear pieces. I've taken people here when they want to grind a specific piece like the setup or closer, those kind of things. But this is really the way, if I really need a build, something for a build, I go to the summit. You got to do 30 floors anyways, so to get the exotic. So you can do a directive that's, you get 20 for doing 20 floors. So you can kind of build some synergy where you go in there, you do your weekly 30, you get gear, you get some directives. And if you want capacitor, I think it's a place you can go to get capacitor. So again, thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully this will give you an idea how you can get specific loot for your character. If you're grinding expertise, this is one way. If you need weapons, like you can just pick ARs, it'll give you a dump truck load of ARs and weapons that you can grind for. So for getting loot and those kind of things, this is one possibility you can do. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, YouTube.